words overrated and underrated get thrown around a lot in Smash because of how opinionatedly charged the game is in general. Even in regards to how good a character is, while other games have complex algorithms and data compiling programs to give it the statistical best characters or strategies, our tier list is literally constructed by aggregating the biased opinions of a bunch of different people. But thanks to that, it essentially allows for interminable discourse over stuff like how good a character is or how bad a certain attack is. One topic I don't think I really touched on yet but should make for an entertaining watch if nothing else is that of overrated moves. The broken moves no one talks about series primarily covers attacks in the game that need more attention and praise, but for today, I'm doing the opposite, talking about attacks that I believe people complain about way too much or talk about how crazy overpowered they are when I really don't think they're that strong. Admittedly, being a Cloud main, I'm going to be influenced by personal experience, and I understand Cloud's really good at shutting down certain things that other cast members do not have an option for whatsoever. That being said, it shouldn't be that different from everyone else. Whatever the case, for today I'm gonna piss off a lot of you guys and give Vars a free video to talk shit about by giving you some attacks on Ultimate that I believe are overrated. First contender on the list will be Wolf and his neutral B blaster. Remember when people used to think this was a top 5 neutral B? I really can't in good conscience assign that to Blaster. To start, let's open up with all the properties of his neutral B that initially made people think it was one of the best. 1. It's a transcendent projectile, making it unchallengeable by anything that isn't a reflector. Normally for projectiles like Fireball and T-Jolt, you can attack the projectile to get rid of it, but you can't for Wolf Blaster. The only way for the majority of the cast to respond against it is by avoiding or shielding it. 2. It has a close quarters hitbox. Getting hit by both the bayonet and the blaster will cause you to take a fair bit of damage, so it does have some protection built into neutral B. 3. It actually does decent damage and can be spammed in neutral relatively safely. Other projectiles can be on the laggier side. The main reason I think people hyped up Wolf Blaster for so long was due to it being an overall fantastic neutral tool, but when comparing it to the however many dozens of other neutral tools in the game, Wolf Blaster doesn't really take home many medals. It has no combo potential compared to Pikachu T-Jolt or Mega Man Metal Blade. It has no kill pressure the way Shadow Ball, Charge Shot, or Bonus Root does, and approach factor wise I feel like people would much rather have something like Joker Gun or Snake's Grenades over Wolf. When discussing transcendent projectiles, something like Rob Laser accomplishes a similar task of controlling neutral, only it can become even bigger and do more damage. Forcing opponents to approach can realistically be done with any projectile, it doesn't explicitly have to be a transcendent one. The utility of Blaster just doesn't go beyond simply racking up damage or gaping a bad recovery, at which point you can say the same for a crummy projectile like Bowser Jr. Cannonball. It wouldn't even be a top 10 neutral B, let alone a top 5. Mind you, it is a good move, no one's denying that, but for my money, at best it's a serviceable neutral tool. Not terrible, but not remarkable either. Next move I want to talk about is Cloud's Up Special Climb Hazard. Wait, hey, stop, no, you put that down, hear me out. Put down your pitchforks, torches, and cotton candy for just a moment. Am I the biggest Cloud down player of all time? Absolutely, but give me some credit, I literally gassed a cross slash in my last episode, so I get a pass on this one. Prevailing wisdom understands that Climb Hazard as a recovery tool is unreliable to say the least. Even the limit version, despite carrying among the best verticality of any move and good horizontal drift as well, can be dealt with by most of the cast relatively consistently. Where they often take issue with the move is when it's being used as a shield, and to its credit, Climb Hazard is undoubtedly a great added shield option. However, I don't think it's one of the best contrary to popular belief. At a frame 7 startup with good horizontal range, it's extremely effective at handling the vast majority of approach and landing aerial options in the game. Not only that, but connecting all 4 hits results in just over 18% in damage clean, as if you got struck by a smash attack, and given you had the ability to decide whether you want to come down or not, and with that downward impact having a splash hitbox and fairly low end lag, even if you whiff it, there is some mix-up opportunity to protect yourself. Now, why I don't consider Climb Hazard to be super amazing is because of 2 things. It doesn't combo and it doesn't kill. The base version anyway. At best, it's a damage racking option and a get off me tool, something a sword fighter can take full advantage of, but in the context of his kick, Cloud already does a lot of damage. Where he might potentially struggle is getting a proper killing option or having some kind of finishing move to close out a stock. For all their drawbacks and risks, many other up specials can either set up into a combo or outright kill on their own. Bowser Whirling Fortress can kill around the 150 mark, Marcina Dolphin Slash at the ledge can kill as early as 120, Roy Blazer does even more damage than Climb Hazard and can kill around 150 to 160, so on and so forth. So many other up Bs can contribute more to a character's win condition than Cloud's does, whether it being a combo finisher like ZSS and Meta Knight or setting up into combos like Pikachu and Game & Watch. Of course, if we include Limit Climb Hazard, then yes, now you have a kill option and a recovery tool as well. But compared to Smash 4, the finite window of time you have to use Limit makes it very easy for opponents to straight up avoid interacting with you for that amount of time, whereas someone with a consistent killing out a shield option or a consistent recovery tool is always a problem in that scenario. Do Cloud players live and die by spamming up B? Yes, but I don't think it's as overpowered as people make it out to be. Even Spargo thinks it's overrated. Oh ho ho ho, I can already hear all the Elite Smashers getting ready to fire at will in the comments. Zelda's down special Phantom has been regarded by many to be the only reason she's able to remotely be viable in Smash Ultimate. I say viable in very strong air quotes because she's a really bad character nonetheless. Granted, Phantom objectively is a pretty good move. While it does carry a hefty amount of startup to assemble the Phantom together, even the one that's just a punch or a kick, there's a lot of good behind this attack. First, the Phantom itself is a human shield. It can block attacks and projectiles and be a physical barrier between her and you. That is, if you pull out the Phantom displacement consistently. One other benefit of Phantom is that Zelda can decide when to actually unleash it, giving her some timing mix-up potential. The full power Phantom in particular has a humongous dash range, insane area coverage, and equally terrifying kill power, especially near the ledge. Zelda can even let the Phantom rip on its own and do other stuff while that's happening, essentially turning the fight into a 2v1 for a short amount of time. Begs the question, why do I think it's overrated? Mainly because of the aforementioned need to commit yourself to summoning it. While you're able to unleash it early if you want to do any of the stronger variants, a lot of characters can simply just run up to you and attack you before you get a chance to do so. The only time you're for the most part safe to charge it up all the way is if you're really far off stage. In that scenario, you can have Phantom act as cover fire during your return to ledge. But from an offensive point of view, most characters can intercept you before you get a chance to use it on stage. Further, there are often moments where Phantom straight up doesn't work. For one, you can break the Phantom with a sufficiently strong attack even after she sends it flying at you, and I don't know what exactly causes it, but sometimes if you're like too close to the Phantom when it moves, it straight up goes right past you without damaging you. To this day I don't know why, maybe there's a win box before the hitbox? But either way, what would make this attack overpowered is if it behaved like a charge shot, wherein Zelda could charge the Phantom and then hold on to it to use as a pressure tool. The fact that she can't bank it for later makes it a lot more telegraphed to deal with. It's a good move, just not the game-winning down B everyone on Elite Smash thinks it is. Alright, so if Zelda didn't piss you off, I'm sure this one's gonna piss you off because this move has basically become a meme in his kit. Terry's crack shoot though doesn't deserve the amount of hate it gets. Do Terry players spam it anytime they get impatient and neutral and it sometimes works? 100%, but crack shoot is one of the easiest attacks in the game to deal with. People tend to call it Terry's best move, but frankly I don't see why. On one hand, the benefits of crack shoot are that it's relatively fast, at least in comparison to his other attacks. It doesn't put him in freefall so it can be used to recover, the range and area coverage of the attack are fairly decent, and it does good damage. There's one very noticeable downside to this move though, it loses to like almost any disjointed attack. Considering the fixed range of the attack as opposed to a more open-ended gap closer like spin dash, it's extremely easy to just set up a wall against Terry on any character who can afford to do so and straight up attack him out of it. I'm almost certain this move gets beat up by most projectiles too, part of the reason Terry is so much trouble against zoners. His best approach option straight up doesn't work against a lot of stuff. Crack shoot also suffers from the same issue that Cloud Up B and Wolf Neutral B do. It's a gap closing option that does damage and nothing much else. Crack shoot has no true combo potential and it doesn't really kill. Not that Terry needs it to, he just has to get in close to you and then he can blow you up with a variety of other attacks. But oftentimes you'll find, for example, Terry plays using the auto-cancel power dunk tech to approach either alongside or in place of crack shoot, since relying on crack shoot alone will get you nothing. In fact, I rarely see Riddles using crack shoot to approach anymore. You tend to see him defaulting to general movement. Most of the time his crack shoot usage is to recover or as a forward tilt combo follow-up. It's just too easy to play around crack shoot or outright stop it altogether. Second to last move will be Sephiroth's side special. Try saying that 3 times fast. Shadow Flare gets a lot of praise for being a delayed explosion that effectively forces the opponent into disadvantage despite technically still being in neutral. Starting with the good stuff, yes, it's a very unique neutral tool in the sense that a delayed explosion can act as both an offense and defense against the opponent. Offensively, Sephiroth can use it as a combo extender to give him a strong follow-up, or he can use it as a finisher if they're way off stage to get pushed into the blast zone. Defensively, it can be used to interrupt combos. If the opponent's attacking Sephiroth, the explosion can bail you out. You can also use Shadow Flare as a shield break setup. If the opponent shields to guard against the explosion, you can down smash and break their shield to then hopefully one-shot them using Giga Flare. So there is some benefit to this attack. But there are also just as many ways to deal with the attack. Primarily, it's a set duration. It will explode at the same time every time it gets applied. If you're aware of that, you can easily just time a spot dodge, air dodge, or simply run away and shield. If you're decently far enough away, Sephiroth won't have time to run up and down smash. He's not a rushdown character. You can also make use of ledge invincibility to avoid it that way too, and if you have a reflector, it makes everything way easier. You can reflect the cast back at him either before it tags you or when the explosion goes off. Alternatively, you can just attack Sephiroth. Just because you're tagged by Shadow Player doesn't mean you can't keep playing the game normally. If anything, you should attack him. By launching him, you get time to run away and shield. Sure, you can't press your advantage, but it's not like he can do anything to punish you either. Shadow Player just isn't that oppressive of a move, despite many people thinking it would be overpowered when it first came out. This up air, oh my god, I remember people looking at this up air and thinking all the reasons why it's broken, but in reality, air shooter is nothing more than a skill check. Mega Man's up air will be the final attack of the video. One of the more unique up airs in the game in that it's a projectile multi-hit, but unlike other attacks in this game, it's a win box, not a hit box, meaning it doesn't cause hit stun. Taking the full force of the attack is also quite damaging. I believe in total it can do upwards of like 25%. People used to be terrified in this attack on account of the few clips where someone basically died at 0, and I understand when it comes to win boxes, the heavier you are the less affected you are by it, and the lighter you are the more affected you are by it. That being said, even for non-heavies, people really need to stop giving Mega Man's up air so much credit. The reason it can kill so early is because most people, when they get hit by something, their first instinct is to jump to reset momentum and try to work on landing, or they air dodge to avoid taking subsequent hits. Against win boxes, you want to avoid doing either because all that does is add to your momentum. The way to deal with this attack is to 1. Drift in a perpendicular direction, either left or right of it, and 2. Hold down. If you do that, air shooter will basically never kill unless you're either way close to the ceiling, at which point any up air would kill you, or you're at like 160%, at which point once again any up air would kill you regardless. Mega Man has nothing else in his kit that can threaten you if you're high above him. It's only air shooter, so just don't jump and float right out of it and you're fine. There is kind of a cheese setup where Mega Man puts down Rush Coil and both of you jump on it and he up airs you from high above the ground. But to reiterate, that's just another skill check. Any other situation would kill you there as well. Bottom line, I think this one was overrated. Game & Watch up air is 10 times better than Mega Man up air. I will die on this hill. Alrighty, so those are 6 among other moves in Smash that I think are overrated. Again, not to say they're bad moves, but with how often people bitch and moan about them, you'd think they're the best moves in the game of their kind. A lot of them have either very easy ways to shut them down, or their range of applications doesn't extend as far as you would think. But then again, people like to clown on me for having bad takes, so let me know in the comments down below how delusional you think I am for calling Cloud Up overrated. And while you're there, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you left a like and subscribed. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Vars, join my Discord server, and check out my videos on broken moves that no one talks about if you haven't yet. But till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
W. But for how long?
Not great.
Down air, not going to connect. The forward air does.
Light fighting for his life right now, looking for an up air. Spargo says, get off me. Little footstool action, fighting back to center stage. Back air, this is looking really good for Spargo. He might be closing out the set right here.
He's getting out of space.
Oh, the back air. That's it.
The hit in.
Woo!